In 1996, one of the most valuable storytelling empires on Earth ran out of money. Not a bad quarter, bankruptcy. The company that owned Spider-Man, the X-Men, and the Hulk could not pay its bills. And a decade later, it would sell for $4 billion. This is the story of how Marvel almost died, and the single financial maneuver that brought it back. Marvel wasn't built on money. It was built on imagination. A small team in a cramped New York office who created a universe of characters that would outlive them all. But owning great characters and running a great business are two very different things. In 1989, financier Ronald Perelman bought Marvel, took it public, and used it as an engine for debt-fueled expansion, buying trading card makers, sticker companies, and distributors, piling on borrowed money. For a while it worked because comics were booming. Speculators bought up issues by the crate, convinced they would be worth fortunes. It was a bubble, and in the mid-90s it burst. Comic sales collapsed, and Marvel was left as a heavily indebted company, sitting on a market that had evaporated. In December 1996, Marvel filed for bankruptcy. What followed was an ugly war for control between Perelman and corporate raider Carl Icahn. And here is the tragic irony. Marvel had already sold the film rights to its greatest characters, cheaply, just to raise cash. It was liquidating its own future to survive the present. The rescue came from an unlikely place, a toy company. Marvel's toy partner, Toy Biz, run by Isaac Perlmutter and creative chief Avi Arad, used its leverage in the bankruptcy to seize control of Marvel itself. Arad was convinced the characters were worth billions if Marvel would stop renting them out and start building with them. But building films costs money Marvel didn't have, so they did something Wall Street had never quite seen. In 2005, Marvel struck a deal with Merrill Lynch, a $525 million facility to finance its own movies. The genius was in the structure. Marvel put the money inside a separate, bankruptcy remote subsidiary, so if the films flopped, the losses could not sink the parent company. It was non-recourse. And the collateral wasn't cash or buildings, it was the film rights to 10 characters. They had engineered a bet where the downside was capped and the upside was an entire cinematic universe. The first film they made themselves came out in 2008, a gamble on a second-tier character and an actor Hollywood had written off. It became a global phenomenon. 1 year later, Disney bought Marvel for $4 billion. The company that couldn't pay its bills had become one of the most valuable properties on the planet. Marvel's comeback wasn't magic. It was structured finance, a company that finally learned to treat its imagination like the asset it always was.